Ooh.
All right, that was cool. Hey everybody, welcome back to Nains Shorts. You know Rick?
Hey.
Say hi, Rick.
Hi, Rick.
There you go. That's a nice one. So, welcome back to Nains Shorts, another edition of what do we even call these besides my shorts?
These are your shorts. That's
it. All right. So
these are your shorts.
I thought we had something significant to say about it, but I guess not. We're here back at Physique Magnifique, our home of the Bladed Mind, and you guys just saw a quick little technique that we've been playing with for a while.
That everybody does, as a matter of fact.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. But I was never taught this technique directly.
Right.
You guys, or in the Bladed Mind, we don't have that habit of teaching techniques, but rather the steps that came behind it, the ideas behind it. I closed the gap, I took care of his arm, I struck, disoriented him as much as I could, and then I moved into the thing. And that was what the technique became after the point of contact, which was the punch. Now, my placements was all there physically.
Right.
But was the placement of my ideas there properly? In other words, if you had struggled, if you had put any sort of resistance behind it, would it still have worked? Or more importantly, could I have made it work?
Right. So essentially, what you're saying is, I gave you what you needed to show off this drill, to do that technique.
It's a demonstration.
Right. It's a demonstration.
Yeah.
And you raise an interesting point in that. What happens when all that goes to shit? Right? I mean, what if they change their mind? What if they go a different direction?
Mm-hmm.
Do we continue the technique or what we were taught?
Right.
Or do we ad-lib and go wherever we can?
Well, one of the first places that we actually confront this idea with our students is when we're playing with sticks.
Mm-hmm.
We play with sticks, we get so close, because we do consider ourselves close court fighters, that the length of that stick is no longer usable. It gets in the way more than anything. So what do we tell our students? Let go of the stick.
Yeah.
Drop the stick. You're not married to it.
Right.
And if the stick is not a weapon, but a teaching tool, well, wouldn't that idea then also apply to the concepts, the placements of the concepts? If one thing isn't working, how quick can you abandon that and move on to something else?
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Because if something isn't working,
Mm-hmm.
why force it?
Right.
Why chase it? Why keep going?
Well, because body mechanics and or not body mechanics, but rather muscle memory, what we perceive to be muscle memory, kicks in, and we do this 1,000 times. It's going to come out. And if somebody knows how to manipulate you into doing the things you're comfortable with, well, then you're going to do them whether you want to or not.
Right.
But what if the thing that you practice all the time isn't the technique, but the ideas behind it, and more importantly, how you got there? How did that technique get born, or how was it initiated to begin with?
Well, I think to figure that part of it out, or to be able to explain it, you almost have to reverse engineer
Oh yeah.
everything that was being done, and try to figure out at what point did we come to these conclusions, and at what point do we change them when necessary. So let's do that.
Oh, okay. Well, let's break down. How did we even get to the point of the entry other than you giving me a punch? So you threw the punch, and I parried with my right hand. Usually we learn it with the left hand.
Right.
But I parried with the right, and then I placed. I'm way too far for anything to happen like this. So even going further back.
So let's do a little bit of clarification.
Yes.
For those of you who do your own thing, this is pretty much like a hoop drill,
Yes.
right?
We just
parry,
call it
place,
parry,
trap.
place, trap.
Right. So continue.
Parried here, placed here. But long ago I learned that this is too far for any of the techniques that I would want to do at that range to work. So I had to step in.
Right.
So now I'm bridging the gap, I'm stunning here, and I'm getting to the point where, now I can take control and continue. I'm not going to do it again to you. But, thank you. Those were concepts.
Right.
And what I mean by that is that my placement of what happened wasn't due to me wanting to do something specific.
Now, let's go back to just show the parry, place, trap with your left hand and
That's
see what it is that it looks like, right?
Because this brings you to the outside.
Right. And then it
And
allows
then I
me to
throw
do
punch.
my drill and this is the hoover.
And this is the drill.
But
But
once it changes to the inside,
right, then it's here.
oh, and you can't, there is no trap, there is
There
no
is
punch.
no. If I wanted to, I can give you this, and you can continue with what you want to do,
Right.
in which you
Or
can.
it's maybe
Ah,
on the
yeah.
inside,
See. And then here.
Right. But that changes only so much.
Right, and it goes back to understanding. Okay, what are these individual pieces then intended for?
Right.
Why are we learning this process? Well, one, because the drill itself allows it to continue back and forth. You can learn movement, you can learn other things like pressure, resistance, energy that you can push into it. But at the end of the day, like we've said before, and so many other instructors have, nobody fights that way.
Right.
But if we can break down the individual components, so if we break down just the parry, all this is for, and all it's named for, is to stop this from hitting you. Just
Right.
deflect it enough to get it out of the way. And even still, most people say, just move. Oh,
Right.
okay. So what if I had a parry and a move? Oh, now I have all this available to me to do whatever it is I need to do for that particular moment, because nobody's going to hold their arm out here. Which is probably why we learn the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, because we want to get in condition to do one thing after another,
Right.
and continuously move forward. But parry is just meant to do that. Now, the second part. I'm literally just blocking. I'm making sure that this doesn't come back and hurt me, or that my hand is up so I'm prepared for something else. Meanwhile, this one is going on to whatever it needs to do. When in this case, the third part, which is a trap, which essentially is just, how do I keep these from coming back to me, from no longer being a threat to me, putting them somewhere or making sure they stay somewhere where they're not going to come back and hurt me.
Right.
That's essentially all it's going to do. If I wanted to then apply all these ideas
Right. Individually or maybe.
individually in succession, because if I wanted to then combine that, there, I missed his hand, but I still came in. I'm trapping his hand with my arm now, and I'm here. Okay? Now, I just threw myself there. I didn't know what he was going to do. I just did it. But I wanted to concentrate on just the ideas alone, because in a real fight, you're not going to be able to do the very pretty things that we learned how to do. At the end of it, you could just smother somebody. Just the impact of my body coming forward, having good foundation, and just holding on to somebody could be enough to stop whatever it is happening. Sorry.
No, I get that. I mean, you're just, you become all three pieces with your
At the
entire
same
body.
time.
With
Exactly.
your body.
And then that's because you understand what it is you're trying to accomplish with each one.
Right.
And breaking them down individually and realizing, okay, well, this is meant to do this, so I can do it. Oh, wait, I can do it here, I can do it here, I can do it here. I can do it with my right hand, like our original example,
Mhm.
where I came in on the inside. Not that we necessarily trained that or said, okay, learn it here, now learn it here, now learn it here, now learn,
Right.
okay. Learn 4 different things,
Right.
4 different drills, which is essentially the same one, just at a variation.
Right.
But by breaking down the individual pieces and then rearranging them, literally pushing the mind to do that automatically,
Mhm.
well, then you're also being aware of what your opponent's doing. Because
Right.
we're talking about placement. And I don't mean physically, I mean mentally.
So let's look at this as if I'm punching you without feeding you.
Okay.
So here it comes, right?
Yeah. Right.
What happened? Right?
Yeah, your hand was out of the way, and my first thought was like, hit him in the...
Yeah, because now the thing that you normally would do
Right.
is not there. And it became, and I could
Right.
do my thing because that's how I would punch.
Oh, of course.
Or that's what a real punch would be. And again, I think what you're trying to explain is that if everything goes to shit, you got
What do you rely on?
yeah, well, you got to continue with something, anything. So you know how I always say, don't look at it for what it is,
Look at it for what it
what
can
it
become.
could become. And if that be the case, then this you
Right.
oh, look at that, Perry plays trap all in one place, and he's got his foot on my foot, and you know. But again, all of these little things, you parry
Whether
with
that make
this,
contact.
yeah. I mean, you still had your parry, but
Yeah.
it was in a different spot. You place it now up here rather than at the arm, and and all these variations that you had to then do because the thing that you trained for didn't happen.
No. And then that's what led me to this idea that placing your concepts where you are mentally is going to make so much more of a difference as to where you are physically.
Right.
Because here, in order to do a specific technique, I have to be at the right range.
Right.
Because what happens if you're much closer, or if your punch leads in?
Right.
Oh, am I going to back up to catch the wrist? No, I'm going to continue. Oh, now I
Now
grab
you
the
got
elbow.
the
Now my elbow can get in play. No longer it's a punch. My trap is here. Maybe I don't want to hold on. Maybe I'm gripping your fat. Sorry,
Hey.
your bicep,
Thank you.
your muscular arm underneath, because it hurts.
Right.
But there's my trap.
Right.
I'm holding you in place, so that can't hurt me anymore.
And folks, just so you don't misunderstand what we're saying, you know, these are a big part of what we call variations for what we do. Because variations come as spontaneous as whatever happens. You know, it's nothing that we plan for because you can't plan
The
for
fight
whatever.
is not.
Yeah, you can't choreograph and plan that this. You're trying to tell the guy that you have no clue about a total stranger.
Background or anything. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you to the ground as soon as I
Can you
can.
please do this and that?
Right, yeah.
Make a right punch and a left punch, and but also keep it right here because it'll be too high if otherwise.
Right.
You know, we don't know that. I mean, if I'm coming at you and I'm just going, and you're not able to do those things that
Yeah.
you trained, then you're at a loss. And all that stuff that you've been working on may or may not work because of the way you ingrained it into yourself so much.
And then, again, there's nothing wrong with repetition. Repetition is key for any sort of training, especially martial arts.
Yeah, definitely.
But if we can repeat the process of breaking down what it is that we're doing at any given point, then we can adapt. You guys love the Lego analogy.
Yeah.
Little Lego pieces that you put together. You give the same amount to each person, and each person is going to build something different. You tell them build a house, each house is going to look different because each person is going to put the blocks however they want to. And what we want to give our students and share with you now is just little pieces, little bits that you can take, understand, digest however you want to, and then put them into what you do, however you want to put it. If you don't, you don't. If it doesn't work for you, great, but it's there. The information is there, the ideas are there, and everything we do, as much as we make it look like we know what we're doing, it's not scripted.
You know, and you were talking about the Legos, right?
Yeah.
Instead of doing the parry first, do place,
Right.
which is that, right? And then follow it up with a parry, maybe.
Right.
Oh, there's your parry. You know, and this is what we're calling variation, and why we say we put the Legos wherever they need to be for the moment,
Right.
as far as how we're using it.
And labeling them just allows you to then call out, okay, do this first versus this first, just like you did right now. But at the end of the day, my only purpose is to stop that from hitting you
Right.
and stop you from continuing your attacks.
Yeah.
And that's the most basic idea that you can get in self-defense.
I mean, and the funny thing is, like, if you go to punch me,
Right.
really, I got there first, so I win, right? I'm all right. But literally, that's all you really need to do. But we know that isn't going to work 100% of the time.
No, because you told me punch you.
Right. I gave you something to do, so you didn't block it and get ready, nothing. I gave you a direction.
An instruction, yeah.
Right. And I hate that. You know, saying, oh yeah, you know, I want you to throw a right punch. So I know it's going to be right, so I know I can do what I'm going to do. What happens when you say, okay, don't throw something and I don't know what it is. Boom! Oh yeah! God damn it! Ooh, kid dead. Boom! I'm done. Right? And that thing went right by me. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you lean back just enough to get the kick.
Yeah. But
That's
because
good.
I didn't know what you were gonna do, right? I had no clue. And you went even before I said go. You just boom, right?
Oh, I was waiting for a go?
Exactly, right? But that's the thing, and doesn't this then prove our point?
Yeah.
You just you can't prepare for anything when you don't know what to prepare for. So why are we doing that?
I think it's not taking the ideas far enough.
Yeah, I think what it is, it's, you know, you do those things,
Yeah.
so you have an idea of what may, and you start to recognize little things.
Right, right.
I mean, that's what these drills are to do.
Oh, yeah.
You recognize a right angle, you know.
This
the
quadrant,
angles-
this
yeah,
quadrant,
the
this
angles
quadrant,
of
this
attack, and you
one,
deal
yeah.
with them the way you're supposed to deal with them. But even that is kind of vague in that sense, because it might be coming from there, but what kind of punch was it, or what kind of strike?
Right.
How is it being delivered? All these things, we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, so I think this is an interesting topic, because you're dealing with so much unknowns, and how can you spend all that time preparing for something?
Something specific that may or may never come.
Right.
But again, it's not to take away anything that anybody's doing. It's simply just to, hopefully it adds. You can take what you do and really restructure it to work for you, because at the end of the day, regardless of how good your instructor is, you're going to be the one facing these attacks. You're going to be the one out there in a fight. Hopefully you do everything you possibly can to avoid it, but if you can't, it's just you and whatever it is you trained most that's going to come out.
Right.
So,
And a lot of it then has to rely on your adaptability, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah.
You know, and how quickly you can see and recognize the things, and then how you jump to what you're going to do.
Yeah, don't leave it into just, oh, okay, it's going to be this. Oh, where did that come
it
from?
wasn't that. Darn it. I picked wrong. Rochambeau, I lost yet again. You know.
Slap. Because that's the reality, and that's what we face more often than not, is a lot of the unknown. A lot of things that you have no idea, no background of what they cannot do. And we tell our students, assume they're better than you.
Yes.
Because if that doesn't scare you enough to do everything you possibly can to walk away from that fight, then I can't help you. It's all on you. But thank you very much for joining us here, Nains Shorts.
I was just a visitor. I happened to be walking by.
Yeah. Right.
Can I walk? Can I leave now?
Yeah, you can walk by now.
Bye.
Keep walking. There's a lot that can be learned from the things that we do on a regular basis. And again, it's not to take away from the things that we do. We all have our favorite drills and practices. But how far are we taking them mentally? Where are we placing these ideas? Are they fixed on just that one thing? Or can they be applicable in so many other situations and change them? Can we break them apart and put them back together any which way we want? And that's really looking at it for what things can become later on. Because even everything that we did here, as effective as they looked, nobody was hurt. Also, nobody was attacking with malice. So until you get into a situation where those factors are a part of it, you won't really know how effective or ineffective the things that you've been training were or could be. So it's always about pushing, getting further along and getting to a different level of understanding more than anything else. Because physically, as we get older, we don't usually get better. But we try to be as healthy as possible. But the mind's always going to be your best tool to get you out of any situation. So let's continue to elevate that as much as humanly possible. Thank you very much again for joining me. I hope this helps in some way. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. 3, 2, 1, cut!